Hi everyone, I am Retro Anju, and this will be the first in my new series, Stories with the Old Man. I first heard of magic back in late 1994. I remember being on the school bus coming home from school one day, and at the time I was big into video games, Nintendo, Super Nintendo, a couple of my friends, one of them had a Genesis, I think. That was a rare treat for me, was to get to play the Genesis, because all I had was Nintendo stuff at home. And, I made these friends because we all liked the Nintendo games. And one of them says to another this particular day, "Hey, you want to play Magic?" And I'm like, and I didn't really think much of it because I didn't realize what it was. If I'd known now, or if I'd known then what I know now, man, I would have jumped on that and been like, "Hey, what are you talking about?" But as it was, I just kind of let it go, went home for the day, and didn't really give it much thought. A few days later, I'm going over to this friend's house to try to play video games, and I knock on the door, they let me in, and lo and behold, this friend and his older brother and his older brother's friends were sitting around this table playing this game. And honestly, you may be wondering why this particular card is in the frame. Well, this particular card, not this exact one, obviously, because I can't. That was his card, and I don't know what happened to it. But the only card I can remember seeing that day, even though I watched them play the whole game, was Sol Ring, and that caught my attention. This picture caught my attention, and suddenly I wanted to learn more. And so I started playing with their stuff. I had no idea where they got this stuff from. I really didn't. I wasn't sure how to ask at that time. Like I said, the stores we had around my place were the only thing I had any experience with when I was a kid was like Toys R Us, or the precursor to GameStop, Electronics Boutique, places like that. So I didn't really think much of it. But as I started getting to play, I ended up playing with their decks a lot. And at one point, my friend was playing a deck mostly based around Black Vice. And so he played a Black Vice, but I managed to keep myself, at 4 cards, which, if you know what Black Vice is, you know that if you're at 4 cards, it doesn't do anything for your opponent. That's cards in hand, for those of you who are unfamiliar. I know that card's getting old now. But my friend says at one point, he's like, "Oh, you're going to really love this." And he plays Howling Mine. Suddenly, I'm drawing 2 cards per turn, and honestly, I really did like it. And to be honest, I still kept playing extra, enough cards to keep myself at 4 in hand. So his plan kind of backfired. I'm not sure if I won that game or not. What I do remember, the only thing I really do remember, is when I finally got around to making my own deck. I looked through all of his cards, and I selected the cards myself, and made my first deck, and we played, and lo and behold, I actually won that game. The first time I ever played with a deck that I made myself against somebody much more experienced, I actually won. And I wish I had a copy of the card that won me that game. I do not. Maybe I can find a picture of it and pop it in real quick. Stormseeker. Green card. 1 green, 3 colorless. Deals 1 damage to target opponent for each card in their hand. And that won me the game. I didn't realize at the time how strange that card was for green. Because back then, you had a lot of things that didn't fit what would now be considered the standard color pie. There was a lot of black versus green going on, so you got some black counter spells. Not necessarily, but there was an enchantment that could counter green spells that was in black. And you also had the mirror image, the green spell that could counter black spells. And of course you had Stormseeker, which was really designed to combat blue, I believe, at this point. I didn't even think about it back then. But anyway, these 2 cards here and Stormseeker, which I don't have a copy of. Should probably get around to getting one. But those are the 3 cards that made the biggest impression on me when I first started Magic. In fact, when I finally got around to locating where to buy cards, actually finally begged my parents enough, and they did research and called around to several different stores, and we ended up finding a little comic book store in a strip mall that sold Magic. And we went there, and I bought my first pack of cards, which was 4th edition. This was 95 at this point. I'd been messing around with Magic using my friends' cards for almost a year at this point. And when I opened up that first pack of 4th edition that I ever owned, that I ever bought, lo and behold, it had a Howling Mine in it. And so, from that point on, Howling Mine was cemented as my favorite card in the game. And so that's why I have over 100 copies of Howling Mine now. And I want more. I always type into my local game stores and see if they have any copies. And whenever they do, I try to buy it as soon as I can. Most of them are like $5, $5 to $10. They rarely ever get Alpha Beta Unlimited. Not that I think I'd be able to afford an Alpha or Beta one anymore. Unlimited one is still a stretch. But it still makes me happy to find Howling Mines of this art. And I don't know if you probably have been looking at it. I finally got this guy back from the grading service, and I knew the card was beat up, so the 5 on the condition of the card, I honestly, doesn't surprise me. I was very happy to see that the autograph condition was graded as a 10 gem mint, so I'm very happy about that. Alright guys, I think that's about as much as I need to put in for this this first story time. Let me know what you thought. Give me some comments. Are you excited about this new series? I'm not going to discontinue it yet, but please do give me some honest feedback in the comments. Do you like this type of content? Would you like to see more of it? Do you have any specific questions you'd like to talk to me about? As always, guys, thanks for watching.